With me right now, Representative Chip Cravaack out of Minnesota. He served our great country as a military man. And one of the things, Chip, that if you want to touch on more about the super committee, but also let's get into eventually, if this doesn't happen, the $1.2 trillion, we're looking at an automatic $600 million in the military budgets. But first, Chip, I had a chance to visit with a few people yesterday about my conversation with you, and they brought up a great question. They're like, well, why again do we even have the super committee? Like, what is this whole thing really about? So we can start there. That might be a good place.
Yeah, well, good morning, Chris. I agree with you. I did not vote for the bill that actually created the super committee because I just thought it was another layer of bureaucracy that we're going to have to get around. And it's this bill creating the super committee, having 6 Democrats, 6 Republicans, is just something I couldn't support because I didn't feel as though that they were going to obviously represent everyone at the table, because we have, even though it passes through the super committee, it still has to go to the House, still has to go to the Senate for ratification. It's almost setting up another hurdle, which makes it even more difficult to succeed. So I'm not quite sure. I didn't vote for this, but it is what it is, and now we're going to have to work with it.
Let me ask you this, because I've been saying this earlier in the show. Look, I look at Senator Kent Conrad. He's the chairman of the Budget Committee. He's from our state here in North Dakota. 916 days since he's even proposed a budget. I mean, that to me is not doing your job. And I personally, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Chip, but I think he is a lot responsible for us having to go to the point where now we've got this dumb super committee, which eventually can impact our military if they don't get the job done.
Yeah, that's a basic responsibility of government, is passing a budget, and it's been, like you said, 916 days since that has occurred. And this is one of the reasons I ran for Congress, because of the absolute ineptness of what is going on here in D.C. We passed the budget on the House. It is now sitting and rotting over in the Senate because they refused to take it and put it on the table. So it's extremely frustrating on my end. We're legislating, and unfortunately, the Senate is not. I kid around with people. I've got a picture on the wall here, and I say, if you take the picture off the wall, there's an X on it, and that's where I bang my head, because it is so frustrating that this is occurring. On a military perspective, people say keep on cutting military. Right now, in a percentage of GDP, the military is funded at least it's been since World War II. Over the last years, we have completely chipped away at our military, and it's starting to show we're starting to become threadbare. Buddies of mine that are still over there, they're still actually engaged. They're telling me, don't cut anymore. We're at our limit. And with this, even Leon Panetta just come out and said that if you do this to us, we will not be able to properly protect the United States of America. We will not be able to complete the mission and the power projections that we must do as a military to protect the United States. So I think we should listen to Mr. Panetta.
Can you please repeat that? Because I want people to understand the impact of what you just said. And again, the fact that Senator Kent Conrad is not doing his job. So I want you just to repeat that quickly. And what are the chances of them really getting the $1.2 trillion cuts done?
Well, I have to agree with, as I say, I'm praying for the best, expecting the worst. And if we actually allow this to go to sequestration, it is going to have a huge impact on our military power projection and the ability for them to protect this country, which is constitutionally what we're supposed to be doing to begin with. And for the senator not being able to, spearheading, he's actually on this committee, and we've already seen that the Senate is not willing to actually do a basic responsibility of Congress in creating a budget that we can go by, giving some certainty. That's one of the main problems that we're having in this economy right now, is because of the lack of certainty. When you talk to business owners, they say, we don't know what's going to happen next. What new regulation, what new taxation are you going to place upon us? Plus the fact this government does not have a budget. And like I said, we have passed a budget on the House side, U.S. House of Representatives. We have sent it over to the Senate, and there it rots. And we have, I think it's like 18 different bills right now that will help spur growth and spur jobs within this country, and yet the Senate refuses to take it up. And it's quite frustrating, extremely frustrating. They are actually doing a disservice to the American people. They're quite frankly, have a dereliction of duty of doing their job.
Congressman Chip Cravaack out of Minnesota talking about the super committee and then if it's going to get done or not. Again, $1.2 trillion in cuts. that need to be done by November 23rd. A couple other quick things. We've got about a minute and a half here. The Vikings Stadium, your comments on that? Any chance this thing gets figured out and the Vikes stay in Minnesota, or are they going to Los Angeles?
You know what? I wish I could comment on it and have an inside gouge to you, but it's truly a state issue, and who knows what's going to happen. It's kind of like what's going to happen in the Super Committee. Who knows what's going to happen? We're all standing by, kind of holding our breath, and whatever occurs, occurs. But I'd hate to see the Vikes go. They're a hometown team, but I guess we're going to have to come to some type of resolution there as well.
Congressman Chip Cravaack, anything else you want to share quickly, sir?
I hope the American people see what's happening to our current economy. I hope people realize if we continue on this current path that we are on right now, it'll be the detriment to all of us, and that we need to come together and change the course that we are currently on. And we need to change it dramatically. I hope everybody was listening to Bernanke yesterday, that we need to change this course dramatically, or we will be the first generation to give the next generation a lesser of opportunities and growth. So I hope the American people are watching, and I hope they're listening, and I hope they're engaged.